I don't know if I'm too old to do it or if it just makes me vomit too much. That trend of every artist going, listen to my new song, and then they play it and they lip sync it. I can't make myself do that for shit. I just sit in my car singing my own damn song, not even singing it, just lip singing to myself in my car.
You got to point up the lyrics.
Right. And then I go, hey, if you like it, I'll finish recording it. Like you didn't record this song already. Who went in the studio and recorded 30 seconds of a song?
Hey, listen, you got to play the game, bro.
Nope. I don't have to play the game.
Or you don't have to.
I don't have to play the game, and I can not be as popular, and I can be happy.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Big Vinny. This is Jeff Suter. And over here, we got the one and only Jared Blake. Final 4, season 1 of The Voice. Is that
Fun?
right?
Did you say fun?
It's 4 in 1 mix. Fun.
Oh.
What is fun?
It's like flan. It's flan's distant cousin. You know, you ever had flan? It's great. Anyway, you can eat it or you can just watch it just jiggle on the dashboard on the way home. It's great. Anyways, the point is today we're going to be talking about and we're going to be bringing to light some of the amazing things that can happen with social media, and then some of the things that are not so great, the effects that it has on people's mental health and different things like that. And I think it's an important subject because throughout my years, I've seen it turn people's careers into multi-million-dollar level careers, not just in music, but in all walks of life. And then I've also seen it turn around and put people in states of depression and put them about questioning their worth. And I said, so when I was coming in today, I was like, man, I would really like to talk about this and put it out there in hopes that we help the people understand that your worth can't be wrapped up in how your social media does. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to push it and try to go after it, but I don't want to, I hate to see some of these artists and people that I work with place their entire worth on that like or that comment. And so, that was kind of the thing I thought we should talk about today and we should put out there. So what do you think?
I think the immediate dopamine hit that comes from a lot of likes or a lot of views can put, your mental health way up here, like super excited, super over the top.
Yeah.
But same can be said for when it doesn't happen, right? Like if I put a lot of work into a reel for this podcast and I'm like, damn, this is the best reel we've ever done. Like this is the best clip with the best captions, the best pictures. This thing's going to be off the charts. 300 views. It's like instantly, well, A, it didn't perform.
And you spent hours.
But B, the couple hours I put into the best damn clip we've put out.
Yeah.
Feels like it went down the shitter.
Right.
When in reality, the truth behind it is that's 300 people.
Yeah.
That wouldn't know who the hell we are otherwise. Right? So it's perspective.
Well, especially on Reels, because Reels hit not just your regular audience and your followers, but your outside.
Right.
So that is interesting to think of it that way. I'd be interested to go in and see out of those 300, how many were people that follow you versus outside of that. I think you can probably look that up on the insights, but I'm not really an expert on how to work it all.
So you don't know the analytics.
I don't know the analytics, but I think that's a proper way to say it is like that instant gratification, that instant dopamine dump of like, man, people are liking me. People are liking this post. I did a good job. What if it goes viral? What if it's the next thing that, causes that, and I don't know. What do you think?
This subject makes me nauseous.
Oh.
As soon as you
throw
said,
up on the table. We don't need
as soon
that.
as you said social media, I was like, just gross. There's nothing about it that I like. But that also probably comes from, if I'm honest, going through my own mental instability,
right?
Addiction, those sort of things. And I watched it with my kids. I watch it change their mood depending on what's going on that day.
Yeah.
And one child in particular got an excessive amount of attention in high school, and I watched her struggle through the same emotions that I struggled through as a musician. And so, I don't know, some people, I guess it's fine with it. And the thing is, like, I don't mind being on social media or posting when something's just happening in my life. I'm on a date with my wife, or we're at Disney, or we're on the beach, or whatever we're doing. But when I have to wake up in the morning and try to figure out what I need to say in order to get something that I'm doing heard or seen by people, it makes me sick. Like the thought of it, like it's a weird thing. I mean, the biggest struggle, as much as I enjoy doing this podcast, the biggest struggle I have is figuring out what to post about this.
How to get people to watch it or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's trying to figure out how to get someone to watch you rather than, and once again, one of the reasons I don't like it, the reality is that you work so hard and you build up these, 40, 50,000 people that watch you, and then you post something and 5 of them see it. And you can't do shit about it. You can't do shit about it.
Because your name is not Mark Zuckerberg.
Now, if I had worked over the last 15 years to collect 50,000 email addresses of my fans, one button, boom, 50,000 people just heard about that song. I don't have that power to do that because I spent all that time
7%
building things.
that actually open emails.
Text messages, whatever you want to say.
Where it's at.
Whatever you want to look at. I'm saying, like, and even with that, you said, what percentage of email?
I just threw out a number. It could be way more than that. Like 20%.
Whatever it is, guaranteed it's a hell of a lot more than if I post a single, or God forbid I post a video of a music video. I mean, like, I mean, and then
people still make music videos.
Yeah, we still spend a lot of money doing it. I don't know why.
Not near as much as used to, but still a lot.
Right, but yeah, that high and low, I agree with. I think the spots that it's extremely damaging is for someone like me. It doesn't give me a high when it's doing well. I mean, recently I had that one video that it got 2.2 million views, 30-something
thousand likes, and not likes.
No, it was more than that. No, it was,
right?
I can't remember. It was something stupid. And
all I know is every time I log on my notification, like blah 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 blah, because you tagged me in it. So
I didn't. It didn't make me feel special because there's also that understanding, like, this is an algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay, I got in it. That was cool. Nothing special about this post necessarily. It just got an algorithm. Well, on the flip side, though,
it was a cool post.
It was a cool post, but it wasn't any cooler than half the stuff that I've done. I mean, when you're over in Jordan at Christmas on Christmas Day with the troops, that's a pretty freaking cool post, and that got like 7. Like, so, so like when you, it's weird that you can see that this is an algorithm making me look popular right now. But then when the algorithm doesn't work in your favor, I don't think of it as the algorithm. I think of it as like I wasn't entertaining enough, or I wasn't enough, or people don't like me. And that's a really weird, messed up spot where you give the credit to the social media when it does right, but when it does wrong, you blame yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, when I look at social media, and I'm starting to look at it differently, because I've always just, I just post whatever on there. People are like,
dude, I used to love that about you. Vinny would post something, it'd be 180 likes, and then the next one would be 7 likes, and he didn't care. He was like, hey, did you see my post today?
Yeah, and I'm still the same way. It doesn't.
I love that about you.
Like, I'm just like, oh, well, that didn't work. I'll go on and post the next thing. And I think, for the most part, our generation lives in that realm. You know what I mean? Do I got something on my beard?
No, that's great.
No, you look great.
Thanks. I work out. Anyway, you can go to my Instagram and you can see the pictures of it and the videos. That's great. Yeah. I don't know about that. I did the workout and came straight here. No, but what I'm saying is, think of what I've realized just in the last little bit. And I started working with, this new publicist and everything. And they went on my social media like, oh, your social media is great. You post a lot of great content, and it's, it's your family, and it's this and it's this. There's like, the only thing we don't know is, what are you? And I was like, what do you mean? There's like, well, if I go on television and I'm going to turn it to whatever channel, I know the kind of content that's going to be on HBO Sunday nights, or I know what kind of content is going to be on True TV. So it's like, you kind of know what you're going there for. There's like, when I come to your channel, it's like a plethora of a bunch of different channels. It's a family channel. It's a music channel. It's a workout channel. It's all these different channels.
Is that a little frustrating to you? Because I remember publicists telling me that, and I was like, but this is all me.
Right.
I'm not one thing.
Supposed to be me.
So, and then they start talking about the podcast. Like, dude, these podcasts are getting some great. I mean, I realized the one I got today, the one of Jared talking about the thing in the music industry that was bothering him, and then him and Lance had that talk, and people love that one.
Yeah.
And it's at like 4,000 or something like that, on the reels, and there's no money behind it. It's just natural, 4,000 and something. People looked at this and watched it, and it's got like 500 or 600 likes and 20 or 30 comments and all that. And it's really cool to see that. But it sent me a thing on my dashboard today. It said, this has performed 250% better than your average reel. And so it's letting me know that they like that content, that this content did well on the page. But then as I'm talking to, the social media manager and people with this new publicist, they're like, we think this podcast is going to be huge. Like, we went and watched the content. They went and spent some time. You have to create its own page. Is that because what happens is these are hard stances that y'all take on certain things, and some of your fans, because it may not even be that they don't agree with you, but they want to come here and listen to music. They want to come here and see what are you doing in your career or whatever. And it's okay to throw in some snapshots of these other things, especially if we have a musical guest on. It makes sense.
Right.
But there's like, you need to create this extra thing for it because it deserves its own platform. It deserves its own place to post and things like that. And we kind of went with the concept of, well, we'll all post it on our pages. We all got all these different followers, and it'll get a bunch of different people liking it. And I think we've done good. I think we've done a lot better than what we think, especially as
But it does seem to be bringing my page down a touch. The more that I post about this, the less a reaction it gets, and then my regular posts get less of a reaction.
Yeah. And like my TikTok, if you go to it, it's basically just this content for the last, several weeks.
Yeah.
Which this content is great for its own TikTok.
No, yeah, I love it. I mean, I get great reaction on it. And my biggest reaction on that one was Matt Murphy, when we had him on here talking about the sex trafficking and all that kind of stuff. It was huge on there. I can't remember what it was, but it was the first time that my TikTok went over like 1,500 views on anything in a long time, and it was a lot of comments and people saying, "Oh my gosh, it's like this needs to be heard," and that was huge.
Well,
but
so
on
things,
Instagram, the day that I posted that, Rail lost 80 followers, which I'm okay with. If they don't want to help beat up sex trafficking, I'm okay with them not following
those
me,
sort of things I'm cool with, and I understand there's a meaning behind them.
Branding.
The ones that I can't. I don't know if I'm too old to do it, or if it just makes me vomit too much. That trend of every artist going, listen to my new song, and then they play it and they lip sync it. I can't make myself do that for shit. I just sit in my car singing my own damn song, not even singing it, just lip singing to myself in my car.
You got to point up at the lyrics,
right? And then I go, hey, if you like it, I'll finish recording it. Like you didn't record this song already. Who went in the studio and recorded 30 seconds of a song?
Hey, listen, you got to play the game, bro.
Nope, I don't have to play the game.
Or you don't have to.
I don't have to play the game, and I can not be as popular, and I can be happy.
So to go back to the
we can clearly see the stance I'm taking today.
Yeah. He is firm.
We've clearly found it makes him sick. He's just not vomiting on the table.
That's good. He don't want to mess up those glasses. He's got insurance on them, though.
From a branding perspective, it can be a massive grand slam. It's
Absolutely.
Right?
I totally agree with that.
It does take some effort, but from a branding perspective, home run. Where I have an issue with it is from a man perspective. If I pull up Instagram and just go hit the search button, I'm flooded with girls in bikinis or working out. And that's not something I seek out, right? Like, well, they're not of my wife. So that's,
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they get upset
so
about
with that, I hadn't brought it, but it causes a lot of arguments and stuff because also, once again, like if my wife gets on there and looks at it, it looks like that's what I'm searching.
Right.
And it's like, dude, like it doesn't matter. Like it just creates these ideas just because you fit a target. Right.
I'm a 43-year-old man.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course he wants to look at girls in bikinis. Yeah. But I think to take that a step further, they could be 15 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But for our youth feel like for the likes, right? And this goes for males too. I think it's incentivized some youth from a male perspective to work out more, lift more weights, things like that, because they want to be able to post a picture of them
jack
with
your
no
truck
shirt
up,
on.
but only on the front with lights under it.
Yes, very
It's called
true.
squatting, by the way.
And then the girls in the least amount of clothes as possible.
Yeah.
Right? And I've had this talk with not only my 15-year-old, but my 18-year-old sister-in-law, well, fixing to be 18. And she does the bikini shots. And she's a very attractive young girl, right? But you fast forward 5 years.
Yeah.
Would you still, are you still going to be in the position where you feel like is it going to get worse or is it going to get better?
Right.
Do you become the boss that wears a suit? Or are you still the girl that feels like you have to post that in a bikini to get that attention?
Is this going to influence the jobs that you get because of what content you have out there? Those are things that we don't know. But then, to your point about
it lives on the
the
internet
girls, I'm very curious about what this is for. As much as we're all about the women's movement and equality and those sort of things, I cannot see how this is not going backwards for them. And I understand that they're going, oh, we should be allowed to say and do all the things that men do. It's like, but you're picking things that you didn't like about us. You're picking and you're giving away things for free that guys had to work for, you know?
Yeah.
So you could say whatever you wanted to about porn or anything like that all day, but you're just giving a different version of that, because the reality is that for a guy, it doesn't matter if you're wearing clothes or not wearing clothes. If you're doing something that's attractive to us, we're attracted. We're already having these thoughts about things. And so
especially when you get on the level of a 13 to 18-year-old boy.
Oh, dude.
You know, and they're the ones that, you know, so if you got a 13 to 18-year-old girl posting, her friends are 13 to 18-year-old other people.
They're getting the pole dance without going to the strip club.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? Yeah.
Right. And I'm concerned of what that's going to do in the breakdown society because of it. Because, you know, when we were kids growing up, if you wanted to see anything, you had to work hard. You had to
go find the stash somewhere.
You had to
sneak in, and if you got caught, you was
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just
that. You know, I thought you were talking about to find the porn stash.
You had to pursue a girl.
Uncle Johnny's, you know what I mean, in the bottom of the car.
Like you had to pursue a girl. You had to be. You had to give her the qualities that she was looking for in order to advance in this department. But what we've got now is like you can see whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then when you decide that you want more, you can just go download another app and just wait for someone to be ready. And as soon as they're ready, you go do that. Like it's really changing the dynamic of what relationships are going to be.
Probably, and I don't know this to be true because obviously we're all guessing on this because we don't know what it causes 5 years from now or 10 years from now. In the grand scheme of things, social media
doesn't seem healthy.
Very new.
On that side that we're talking about.
But what I'm saying is you know, the expectations when it comes to sex and love and what somebody should look like. You know, you got people that believe that, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and it's an Instagram model that's been, you know, photoshopped, and this has been done. So it's got girls looking at this and thinking, oh, I'm supposed to look like that, but I don't. So let me cut and paste this, or maybe I need to go starve myself. I think it can cause those issues. Or from the guy's standpoint of like, man, I don't look like that guy, so I'm never going to be worth anything. And obviously we've seen the suicide rates go up and things like that. And I think it's immediately and directly tied to a lot of the way people feel on their social media, because they feel less than, or they look at the snapshot of somebody's life, and most people are only going to show you the positive on there. Now, I'm against going on there and crying, okay? I'm against getting on your Instagram
and I'm all for praying, but I don't need you to pray verbally on Instagram or TikTok or anything else.
Textily.
Whatever.
Textily.
It's definitely affecting self-esteem. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Well, and I think before, you know, you would watch TV or you would see the covers of Flex magazine or Men's Health, and you kind of was like, oh, well, but then you had that disconnect.
There was a disconnect of being judged. It's that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Well, he's that's what he does for a living. Whereas now it's like, I mean, there's some of these dudes, even when we go to Gold's Gym, you got some of these high schoolers in there and they're flexing. They're ripped up, you know. I mean, they're getting shredded, you know.
You want to know why?
And well, because they're watching it on TikTok, you know.
The damn video.
And they. Well, listen,
I thought you were going to say roids, but
I've come to my conclusion.
That's how.
I'm sorry. I film myself in the gym sometimes, you know what I mean? But I've come to the conclusion that part of the funnest part of my day is when I'm in the gym and I see somebody doing their video, is I purposely try to get in the video and I'll walk by and I go,
dude, the ones that kill me the most.
I look at directly in the camera.
The ones that kill me the most is the ones that are just standing in front of the sink in the locker room in the mirror, and they're flexing, and they're just, he's like, and one of them said to me the other day,
wash my hands.
Yeah, I was waiting, and I waited long enough to for him to see and realize like, oh, he's waiting to wash his hands. And he said, oh man, you can go ahead. I'm just looking at myself. I was like, dude, I mean, all of us have checked ourselves out in the mirror, but come on. Every time you've ever looked at yourself in the mirror, if another dude walked in, you immediately were like, I wasn't checking myself out. I wasn't doing anything at all.
My favorite thing about checking myself out in the mirror is I like to see how deep does my belly button hole go. You know what I mean? When I'm in the mirror and I'm standing there and I pull my shirt up, I don't got a six pack. So I got to look at it. I'm like, dang, that thing is deep. Is that like a sexy thing? The deeper the belly button hole, the better?
I mean,
it just means you have more stuff there. All I'm saying is I don't have a six pack, but I got a deep belly button hole. Okay.
All right.
I can honestly say this. I've never heard of this.
Do y'all have deep belly button holes?
I think I have a more than normally deep belly button hole. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a big belly right now. It's pretty deep. So you're saying if I tone it up?
Oh, some of those guys, man, they get so toned that their belly button sticks out. You know, you ever seen that?
That's called an outie.
Oh, Is that a thing?
It is a thing. I had to write a song about it on a radio station one time.
Wait, so people just naturally have an outie belly button?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Trying to
how does
think
that happen?
John Stamos has an outie
There you
and
go.
a messed up toe.
You know, an outie would make more sense as a button than an innie. An innie is not like a button; it's like a hole. So a belly button would make more sense if it was an outie, because then it would look like a button that was like keeping your front shirt on.
Well, I think theoretically they do when you're slim.
Yeah. That,
I wouldn't know him. I haven't been slim since ever. So anyway, see,
And you are putting on some weight, huh? We didn't talk to you about the lawn chairs.
Weld that thing better in the corners is all I'm saying.
let me sit my ass up for a little while.
That's what I told you. You'll fall back in these chairs. Anyways, all I'm saying is, so I get the snapshot of it, and those are all kind of the negative things that it can cause. Obviously, some of the positive things, because if it is encouraging our youth to be more health conscious, I think there's a lot of advice on there that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
I learn a lot of things.
But it's hard to get through that though too, because I also notice that like the more positive stuff I put out, the kind of natural less, it gets out. It's really hard
I
to
agree
get
with
that
that.
out.
Yeah.
And if you look at even our celebrities that are super positive, like a Tim Tebow, well, his numbers look huge unless you look at how many people are following him, and then look at how many numbers he's actually getting. He's super positive, super motivating, great man, right?
I mean, I like everything you post.
And he's still, if you go to someone else that's a more negative, they get way more action out of it.
Yeah.
Way more. And that's kind of gross.
I'll give
But I
an
also
example.
think negative. I mean, think about this. Even before social media, when people have a problem with a hotel or a restaurant, they're a lot more apt to post about it and talk about it, to call in, to tell somebody. Whereas if they get good service and stuff, they might say, "Oh yeah, it was good service over there tonight." But if something goes bad, they're going to let everybody know. So I think that's kind of a natural way of being, is like people will see that negative and they want to jump on it. Well, then what happens is this person tells about their negative. Well, then somebody has another story. Wow. Also, I went there this one time. And so I think that that's kind of a natural thing that happens because
we're crappy.
No, I don't think it's crappy.
People love drama.
I think that people, when they hear something that they can identify with, they want to talk about it. And I think with the happiness and stuff like that, there's so many things that can go wrong in a day that, if people can find comfort in it, well, I wasn't the only one that had a bad day today. So I think that's why the negative can kind of push forward sometimes, whereas the positive, if I'm on there like, dude, my day was great and everything was awesome, there's probably a lot of people like, dude, that's awesome, I'm proud for you. But then the people that are having a terrible day, they're like, you know what? I don't care if you had a good day. I had a shitty day.
I want to point out that I love the fact that while Vinny doesn't engage any of the negative, and he doesn't relate to the people who are enjoying the negative,
I understand.
he's still understanding and defending those people, even though he never does it.
Yeah. Very, very.
He's a rare breed.
I don't know if I could.
Yeah, he's definitely a rare breed.
I thrive on positivity. Like I love positivity. So when I look for, like, he can ask him, I don't know how much, when I listen, when you come on me, if you was to come over to me and take my earphone out of my ear while I'm at the gym and you put it in your ear, you're going to hear motivational speakers. You're going to hear uplifting things, because I feel like whatever you put in is what you get out. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the music that we listen to now, a lot of the things that we put into our brains, TV shows and everything, a lot of time has negative connotations in it, and it's got negative stuff. So I feel like
that's why I only listen to the Kardashians in my ears while I'm working out.
You hate the Kardashians. That's not true at all. But I talk about people that have killed it and in their
dude
genre and their stuff.
I'll give mad props to the Kardashians.
Business.
Listen, all I know is they created a television show that was nothing more than a large commercial for every product they're ever going to put out,
and they sold
people paid them to do it.
Kylie Jenner is a billionaire.
Big money
for makeup. There's a lot of makeup out there.
Big money.
Hey, so back to social media.
Yes, back to it.
I mean, I do feel that there's a lot of good that can come of it. The only thing that I really think is super damaging to me is the fact that as a business or an artist or anything, you build this group of people, but then you have no control over accessing them. Yeah. They've come on your page and they said, I like you, I want to be involved with this, and yet you can't get to them.
And that's tough, especially when you've watched it, because we've been in the social media since it first began, right? We started with MySpace, and MySpace, if you had 25,000 people that followed you and you put up a post, all 25,000 people would see that. It would go across their page.
Oh, dude. I mean, like if I went on The Voice again tomorrow, all of a sudden we go from the 40,000 people that aren't normally seeing it, all 40,000 of them see it, and another 2 million.
Yeah.
Like just.
But what I'm saying is we've watched the algorithms change. When when Facebook Live first came out,
Oh, dude.
if he went live, he'd have 3,000 people watching him. Well, then after they figured out, like, wait a second, these people are making a lot of money off this. We need to make sure that if they want to get to all these
Do
people,
you
they
remember
gotta
when
put
it
a
came
little money
out?
into it.
They sent it out to artists first. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. It may have been just verified accounts. I'm not sure what it was. But
Yeah.
I know my first live, I literally built a gazebo. They said this new live thing is out. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was building a gazebo that day. And I just set it up, push, go, started building a gazebo. 4-hour long video. I was thinking it was like 360,000 views. 360,000 people watched me build a stupid gazebo. Like, and then, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I have total access to fans. And, a month later, then they gave it to everybody and it didn't work anymore. What?
Is that the only time you ever built a gazebo on camera?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a gazebo. Maybe you need to try building a gazebo again in my backyard.
I have missed
Live.
the boat. I should only be building gazebos.
In my backyard.
I have the need
Oh.
for a gazebo as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the pool. It'd
We're
be
trying to
cool.
get you to, if you get his 335,000 and my 335,000 and the 335,000, that's $1 million.
We're talking about dollars, right?
Yes. It's like dollars. It's future dollars, future earnings. That's what your whole music career is based on, future earnings. If this song gets cut by someone big enough and gets on radio and goes to number one, then you will receive $1
And that
million.
makes streaming monopoly money.
Yeah. But so
You look like
another
you're winning.
positive thing. So I think about this. Like,
I've got an
I
example
look
on that.
like I
I've
have a bunch of hotels.
They're red. All of them are red. I don't know why. But like in a positive note, I've always read my Bible, right? And a lot of times I read it. I got a Bible app, and sometimes when I'm sitting there doing cardio, I'll scroll through and I'll find a book, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read here. And a lot of times I have no clue why I'm reading that book. I just read it, and sometimes I get something great out of it. Sometimes I'm like, well, I just read several scriptures, and I don't really know what I read it for, With TikTok, with Instagram stories and reels and all that, there are so many people on there that are putting things out there that about God, about scripture. And it'll give you these things, and it'll give you the scripture, and then you have a context of what that scripture is, and then you go read it for yourself. And of course, you draw your own conclusions, because I think a scripture can be interpreted the way it means something to you based on how your life is going. But I would say that it's made me read my Bible with more intent once I see those things, because I'm like, oh, I got to check that out. I've never heard that scripture, or I've heard it, but I never thought of it like in this context. So I think that's a positive thing. I think it's made me read my Bible more. I think it's showed me that there's a lot of people out there that are not afraid to be Christian, that are not afraid to speak out and say what they believe in. And even outside of Christianity, which is what I believe in, I think it's given people a chance to see eye to eye on stuff that, you might believe in a different God than I do, or you might follow a different set of rules than I do. But at the end of the day, if we're both trying to find happiness and peace, then that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't judge anybody based on their religion, their sexual orientation, their color, any of that stuff doesn't matter to me. If you're trying to go out and be a good person, you're trying to go out and be a good person. I think most people wake up in America every day with the thought of, man, I got to feed my family. I got to make enough money to pay the bills. They're not one time are they thinking, how can I mess up somebody else's life or day based on what they believe differently than me? Like I've never once woke up in my life and thought, man, how can I mess somebody's day up? Now, I do believe there are people that do wake up with that in mind of like, man, I want to cause the devil. I mean, the devil says where there's chaos and commotion, that's where I'll be. You know what I mean? So chaos and commotion comes from disagreements. Chaos and commotion comes from, making someone believe that, whatever they think is wrong, what you think is right. And then you argue about it, and then there's a fight, and then there's chaos and commotion, So I believe that it helps in some ways people find common ground. Like, oh, we're not really that different if we just sit down and talk about it.
It's interesting that you go there with it, because if I'm honest about it, I would read my Bible far more if social media didn't exist. Once again, because I find myself getting caught up in watching how many rednecks wrestle puppies out of alligators' mouths.
Yeah,
But that's God, bro.
You know what I mean? Like,
listen, if a puppy's in an alligator's mouth and God sent a redneck,
I don't know that I ever told you
puppy.
this. I don't know that I ever told you this, but like I was already, after coming off The Voice, that was the first time I ever really paid attention to social media. And all of a sudden you're paying attention to Twitter, then Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, 2 Facebook pages, and you're like trying to handle all this stuff. And then TikTok comes along, and I was like, I ain't doing it. And finally, Vinny convinced me to do it. I sign up and I thought, you know what? That same algorithm that, Instagram figures out or thinks they know about you. I was like, what happens if I never stop on anything? What do they think about me then? Like, what do they throw at me? And so every day I would wake up and I wouldn't post. I wouldn't do anything. I'd just take the phone. I'd open up TikTok and I'd just scroll like this. And I'd never stop. I just keep scrolling as fast as I could. And then I stop and I turn it off. And I did that for like a week. And after a week, in the beginning, it was nothing but girls. And then after a week, it was nothing but dudes. And then after the next week, it went all redneck on me.
Because that seemed like that's a very Arkansas thing to do.
Got him.
It's a very Arkansas
got me.
thing.
I was scrolling through there, and no lie, it was a redneck ran out in the pond and grabbed this puppy out of an alligator's mouth, and I was like, "Oh man, look at that!"
That is awesome. Yeah.
And it got me.
Or the one where the woman smacks that bear in the mouth. Remember that bear that was trying to get their dog? She reaches out and smacks the bear, and the bear runs off, and you're like,
So
Holy
it
crap,
still got me. And so like to this day, like that's like a kryptonite for me. Like I don't know if you guys saw that meme going around, July 4th just happening with the garage.
the hand miss. Oh, no.
No, the garage. And I don't know if there was a fire started in it, but it was fireworks just coming out of this garage.
It was just on fire.
But so that's the one that that kind of stuff it hits mine. But and then occasionally I'll learn something good. And usually it's construction related, and it's always some like stupid hack or something like that's it, and that I may or may not use. Other than that, I don't feel like I get any good or positive. I did for a while try to make sure that I was disliking anything that wasn't for me and liking all the things that was for me. And I did notice that my feed became far more positive. It was much more uplifting sort of things. But then as soon as I stopped doing it, it just went back to the same trash that it was giving me before. So it's like, I don't have time to wake up every day and dislike and like a bunch of crap just so it gives me the right thing. It probably has
like an avatar for it says, okay, well, you're a 40-year-old man that's from this area, that's this and this. It probably has an avatar that says, send them this kind of feed if they don't do anything. But if they do stuff, then send them feed based off the actual algorithms that they're giving you because they're telling you what they like. But now we saw that The Social Dilemma on Netflix. When you go and watch that, you see it talk about how
it's gross too.
They're purposely going to.
You haven't?
Yeah, you got to watch it, dude. It'll tell you how they purposely will put stuff on your feed to make you. They know that you're going to react to,
whether it's happy or angry,
or sad, or you're going to get
and
mad
every
about
single
it
one of them that had anything to do with it don't allow their children to have phones or social media.
Yeah, the ones that built it,
the people that built social media, essentially, like just.
Well, I think there is so much influence that comes in with it because you do see celebrities and you see what they're doing and you're like, oh man, they drive a Maserati. I want to drive a Maserati. Knowing deep down you can't afford a Maserati.
Before we had People magazine. And...
Yeah, but that's listen. When I read People's magazine, standing in the line at the grocery store waiting for an actual person to check me out before they had self checkout. That now takes me way longer than waiting in line.
So you're saying that the lack of checkouts, these robotic checkouts that we do now killed the magazine.
Yeah, they killed the
industry.
No, I never bought the magazine. I would read it all sitting there and get the parts out that I wanted.
You didn't read anything. You looked through all the pictures.
I'd rub the cologne on me, that was in there. Just so I didn't want to stink in the line. Polo Sport, it was great.
I was Jupe.
Oh, Jupe, I love some Jupe. Tommy Hilfiger, Curve. When Curve first came out, it was like the high end stuff.
What was Snoop's Cool
Dog? I don't know.
Cool Water.
Cool Water, cologne. Anyways. But I think there are a lot of positives for me in there. I enjoy motivational stuff. And I think my algorithm is so like you were saying with the algorithms, I think they kind of know how a man's mind works. So like in the morning time, if I get on, it's nothing but motivation and Christian stuff. And it'll be that until midday. And about midday, it's going to turn to something funny, something political, a story of some sort. It's not going to be the motivational and Christian type stuff. And then at nighttime, it's without fail. If I go on my feed at nighttime and if I start scrolling, women, the whole time. So it's like, I think it looks at, okay, this is what a man normally does in the day. In the morning time, they need motivation to get up and get going and this and that. So if we can get them caught sitting here scrolling, they're going to get caught doing this instead of going and working and doing whatever they were supposed to do. So you get less done in a way. Middle of the day, and it's like you need that break because your mind is kind of like, dude, I just need something to take my mind off everything. So it sends you this story about, the one I got into the other day, it was talking about how, in the 80s, they felt like they found the Ark of the Covenant You know, have you seen that one when they go to this hole, they found the blood and all that other stuff? And I got just wrapped up in that story, you know? Next thing I know, I've been on the toilet for 30 minutes. My wife's like, what are you doing in there? Are you okay? Are you sick? I'm like, no, I was just learning about the Ark of the Covenant.
His ass done went to sleep.
Oh,
He can't
dude.
get up.
That left leg, it's always my left leg. My right one never goes to sleep. It's always my left leg. But I'm just saying, it is very interesting, the positive and the negatives that come in from that. You know, I don't know what the next thing's going to be. Like today, that new Threads hit today. Now, you were saying that come out when?
I was told last night that it came out in 2021.
Okay.
And it wasn't successful, so they pulled it back. So it is a new release now.
Yeah.
But it has been released once before, is what I was told last night.
Okay. So I don't remember it ever coming out, but it came out today. And so it literally prompted me, hey, do you want to add Threads? So I was like, oh, sure. This is another social media. I don't want to be like TikTok where I waited a year and a half and, you know, missed the algorithms and all that stuff. So I got on there today and literally it's just Twitter.
Yeah, it's just messaging, right?
No, it's not messaging. It's like somebody could post, man, I hate Cheerios, and then people can come under it and just say it. So it's just like your old school post from old school social media.
Gotcha.
But it's very much like Twitter. You know, you post a thing, you can put pictures and stuff in it, but it's not, that doesn't drive the feed. You know, it's like, it's just more somebody says something and then you can comment underneath it. You can like
I
it.
downloaded it when you told me to, and I posted one thing, and I looked at my daughter when I did it, and was like, I bet I never post on this thing ever again.
I don't know.
Have you looked at it since?
Nope.
I got another question. This hit me today. Every time, whenever I keep all my notifications turned off because I don't want to sit there and listen, bing, 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 or look at my phone and look like I got 50 unread messages, you know, or 50 unchecked things or whatever. So I just keep it all off. And then when I open it up, then it'll tell me in my little notification tabs, hey, you've got 9 new things or whatever. And so I wonder, though, if it affects your algorithm if you don't have the notification turned on. Like, does it make people not see your post as much or things like that? Does it affect your algorithm? Because they always want you to have on that notification. Like, they will literally ask you a million times, you want to turn on your notifications? I'm like, no, I don't.
I'm like you. I post and ghost, right? Like, if I posted this morning, it could have 30 comments right now. Chances are I have no idea it's got 30 comments right now.
Do you go through this? Because I do, and this is a big thought that I've been having about, like, if I spend any serious time posting something to advertise something, and then I go back in, I check on it, and I comment, the amount of time that I've done that, if I would just reprogram my brain to tell people when I see them, hey, have you checked out our podcast? Have you heard my new single? Guaranteed I'd get way more of a result.
I agree with that.
Than that. Yeah. So why is it that we've allowed them to kind of take away that human side of us? And now I feel like everything has to go through this. The fountains, when we advertise those shows, we put that out. But like the amount of people that I actually, like, there were 100, 150 people in my yard the other night.
Yeah. Didn't invite none of them.
I did invite some of them, but
I missed my invite apparently.
But I was sitting there.
It was on Facebook.
I did put, well, it was in our Shelton Square Facebook though.
Oh. You have to move to Shelton Square if you want to be invited to Jared's fireworks thing.
So it my
see, now you done made Jeff
now
mad.
I made
Poor
mad.
Jeff.
I
Jeff
couldn't have
never
been
gets
there
mad.
anyways.
Oh, see, pity party.
So
he gave you a false feel bad, bro.
So I have this I have this like this Bose tower sitting out there that's blasting out music, and I looked over at it and I was like, because Jen was like, well, we got to get everybody together so we can do fireworks, because like everybody's just kind of talking whatever, and I looked over it and I was like, why is there not a mic? It's like I got 18,000 mics in this house. Why is there not a mic attached to this? And then, like, why would I not at the end of the night be like, because everybody's like, oh, this was so great. It's so much fun. Why would I have not taken that opportunity to be like, hey, all 150 of you, if you want to have more fun like this is what we're doing over here.
Yeah.
But, like, it just doesn't occur. Like, I'm having to make a conscious decision when I'm out and about now to tell people about the things that I'm doing and invite them to things. Because in my head, I'm like, well, I put it on Facebook.
What's also funny to me, just thinking about that, like, you're going online and you post, you know, there's a video of you singing or there's a video of us at a show and those people know that you're an artist. These people in the neighborhood have no clue, and they live right beside you, that you're like out there touring, making, you know, a lot of money doing what you do, singing for people all over the country. I mean, just this year, we're going to Minnesota, Utah, New York, Michigan, New Jersey. Yeah. Like we're going,
the only thing that makes them even ask is like when they walk past the music room and there's that baby grand and 4 expensive guitars.
But like, think about that. Like if sitting out there the other night, if you break out the guitar and you start singing, And these people have never heard you. They have no clue what their neighbor does.
I
They
don't
look at you,
think that they would care because I think they have to know that you're special somehow. If not, you're just a weird guy playing guitar.
Not true, bro. If you start singing at that party, every person in that room stops or in the grass. By the way,
this is why I wasn't a very good bar act either.
Jared's grass
Is dead now.
No.
No.
Well, where some of the furniture sits.
I felt like I was walking on plush carpet in somebody's very brand new house.
Dude, the best compliment I got was this girl. She's like 14, 15 years. She steps out there on the grass and she looks at my daughter and she goes,
"Is this real?
Is this fake grass?"
That's what my son asked me. My son literally looked at me, he goes, "Dad, we got to get some of this grass." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Is it real grass? What is this stuff?" I was like, "No, it's real grass, son. It's just well manicured and taken care of." And I mean, I don't know how, because you have a dog that's bigger than a cow and another dog that's smaller than a cat.
Well, I have to put a lot of fertilizer on the areas that he uses the bathroom.
Well, he fertilizes.
Run this test. Post a picture of your grass on social and see how it performs.
Just the grass?
Yeah, just take a picture of your grass.
I would be so shocked if that did well.
Oh, it'll fly.
Yeah.
Watch.
I've never had a picture do well if I'm not in it.
And my socks off. Now that part of the grass is probably dead. But I walked around in the grass just because it felt so good on my feet.
Yeah.
I felt like when I got done, you know how there's people that do that. They'll go out and they'll, what do they call it, grounding or?
Yeah, grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah.
I felt like a better man because I walked around on your grass, bro.
Listen, I mow my grass barefoot because it feels so good.
Dude.
That's dope. It's
a little dangerous.
That's a real man.
Don't pull back too fast. You know?
I see a dude weed eating in shorts, and I question what's wrong with him.
Oh, I weed eated with his weed eater. I weed
barefoot.
eated my yard, and the weeds have gotten pretty high.
I got a better weed eater now.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't that. It's just there's a lot of
No, I'm
rocks
just saying
in my
I got
yard.
better
My grass is not like his grass. And I got done, and I was literally coming in the house. My wife's like, "Oh my God, what happened to your legs?" I'm like, "Huh?" And I looked down, just blood coming out of my legs. I should have posted that on social media, you know?
So picture
People
of
are-
grass and just
It's like cooking bacon
and
with no
all you
shirt
have
on.
to say is, "This is what hard work looks like." Something like that.
I don't know if I can do that because there's Ben Blakes in the world,
look-
and he'll be like, "No, it's not. This is what."
Ben's an anomaly. Most people are. You're in the top 1% of people with their yards. I am not. I have a dude that your wife introduced me to that comes and mows my yard.
James, I love James.
Charges me $35 a pop, and it's worth it. You know why? Because Jared talked me into getting a manual lawnmower.
A real lawnmower. That's how you mow.
One that
That's
you
how
put no
manicure.
motor, and I loved it in April. I mowed with it the other day in June. No.
Not a fan.
I mean, I was a fan for about 5 minutes, and then I was burning up, and every muscle. I felt like I'd been through a whole entire workout. I was just had to.
Another real opportunity that will perform. Just for the record.
You know what I'm going to do? While you're mowing your yard, I'm going to come out there and just walk around barefoot with a pair of blue jean cutoff shorts, about ass high, no shirt on, with a jug of sweet tea. And about halfway through you mowing, I'm just going to pour the sweet tea on my head and shake out my hair.
Not in my yard, you're not.
I'll be right off the side of the yard. I'll go in the neighbor's yard. His grass is pretty nice too.
Oh yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So I'm
teach him everything
tempted.
you know?
I'm tempted. We've been kind of racing for a while. So.
Okay.
But he admitted the other night that his backyard doesn't look like mine. So
Yeah. Well, he ain't got as much yard as you do.
he's at the same amount.
You think?
Yeah. Anyway, so I am getting anal enough about this now that this side yard doesn't grow that well. And so I'm thinking about bringing in some gravel and some AstroTurf and then just teaching my dog to only piss and crap on the side of the house there just to keep him off my
Because
grass.
the dog pee does hurt the grass.
Yeah.
Big time.
Oh, ain't it going to smell really bad though if it's AstroTurf?
Not if you do it the Ben
if it
Blake and
drains
Todd
right.
Oh,
Blake
you got to have
way.
a drain.
Yeah, if it drains.
Yeah,
right.
if you put enough gravel in there, then it soaks through, and
You
so
just
then he
wash
keeps
it.
a sprayer on the side of the
Oh,
house,
okay.
picks up the poop and sprays it,
That
goes
makes
into the
sense.
gravel.
Natural fertilizer. Speaking of fertilizing. All right, so here's the deal. Back to social media because we got way off topic, but it was part of the topic going back to the topic. And now
Well,
we're
yeah,
off
I got
the
to
topic,
post
now
a
we're
picture of
back.
the yard on
Yeah,
social
so we know
media.
what we're posting now. You have an official detail. What is the fix? So how do we learn to live with the social media that's going to be there, but help people's mental health and help them realize that their life can't be all wrapped up in that one thing? Is there a thing that we as a society or us as individuals could start doing to help people, even ourselves?
That's a big picture, but I mean, like that's one of the reasons that we go into the schools and talk about this.
Right.
You know, is to try to get the youth to understand that your identity is not wrapped up in
Right.
whatever this is. But I don't know what the long answer of that is. I'm I can safely say I'm happy about my children don't seem to do that. They don't seem to put their worth in social media. And the only thing that I can say that I've done different than a lot of parents is that, I mean, from the time I can remember them getting phones, that we started rules with, like you sat down for dinner, all the phones went to the center table. We always had game time, family night, conversations, and we expected you to put your phone down. Yeah. During that.
I think it was a beautiful thing the other night at your house. All your kids are there with their significant others, but they're there at your house for 4th of July.
Dude, they're the only reason I had it.
Yeah.
Is because they came to me like, what are we doing 4th of July? And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? None of you people live here anymore. And they're like,
well, costing me money.
They're like, well, everybody keeps asking me what I'm doing. And I just keep telling them I'm going to my dad's. And I was like, oh, well, guess we're doing something then.
Yeah.
Dope.
There you go. Jared's such a good
$3,000
host.
worth of fireworks later.
I called Jared. I'm like, what can I bring? He's like, nothing, buddy. Just bring yourself. So I went and got us a bunch of hot dog or a bunch of hamburgers and some banana pudding and they were out of buns. So I found deli buns and we had to cut them, but they were delicious.
Dude, I was surprised at how many neighbors brought fireworks for us.
No, it was good. It was a good show.
Crazy.
Especially once y'all figured out how to spread out 3 of y'all in 3 different locations, light them all at the same time, and then run.
Yeah.
Now we did have one.
It was a good show.
One mortar got put upside down and it shot at everybody. I felt bad for your one neighbor. What's his name?
We're not going to go over his name. We'll go over the details of him, okay? If he watches or listens, he'll know it's him. But this dude, that's our first time meeting him, and he's drunk as shit, right? And he comes up, and I didn't know what he was doing at first. And then I realized that he was getting mad that no one was lighting his. And then because they were falling over. So we set them in a box so they wouldn't fall over. And I've got 7 of these things, and they're twisted up. They're all like triples, and I got them twisted up for one fuse. And he's like, hey, don't forget mine this time. And he drops it down there. I was like, dude, I got all 7 of these. I don't have time to light yours. There's a lighter over there. And he goes, no, I'm way too drunk to be playing with fire. Just light mine for me. This is mine right here. This is mine right here. This is mine right here. And then we go I light mine. Everybody else lights theirs. And we run off. He's like, hey, you didn't light mine. I was like, dude, you got to get out of there now. And he was like, you didn't light mine. And he runs back and he's like, you guys forgot to light mine. I was like, dude, we told you we can't light yours. And like every time he'd go up and he'd put another tube. And so when we went to clean up, we found like 8 tubes with like different mortars in each one.
Hey, wait, one of them got turned upside down. That's all I know. That's all I'm running for the hills.
Dude, have you ever seen a mortar that gets turned upside down?
I can't say that I have.
Well, let me tell you what does. Okay. I hear
Should have
the
been
guy
on social
saying,
media, by the way.
I hear the guy saying, does it go in this way or that way? And then he goes, hey, you guys go ahead and go back and wait because I don't want to kill anybody or anything. I'm pretty sure it goes this way, but I might be wrong. And he drops it in there and he lights it. And we're all standing back here and he runs back. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And you see and hear this. Poof. And we're like, well, that was strange. And then all of a sudden, out of the bottom of this thing, all the mortars shot out like across the ground, just like a fan out. Everybody's running like, well, that's what happens there. It's throwaway.
Yeah, here's what's funny. The one guy, the one neighbor, he comes up to me, he goes, why wouldn't, and he was drunk too, different guy. He goes, why wasn't you out there with us, Big Vinny? I'm like, well, there's this thing where I don't run fast and y'all are lighting a bunch of stuff and everybody else runs fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back here and make sure none of our kids come running out there, except for the ones that their parents let them run out there. And then I'm like, hey, that's on you. I'm keeping my kids and the kids that I know personally back here behind this line, which we probably still wasn't far enough away from it. Anyways, should have been on social media.
Dude, listen, I'm going to send this picture to these guys and they can post it up there. But this is 2 pictures that my son captured of that's me. And he was like, why are you still standing in the middle
so
of
close?
This is me. This is everybody else over here. Dude, it was crazy.
Well, also, it was weird because I felt like these fireworks didn't shoot super high in the air. Didn't it feel like they were blowing up lower to the ground than normal?
Oh, no, we were right underneath it. So we were just constantly getting hit with stuff. So
we got hit over there when we were sitting up there by the house. I was like, whoa. My son loved it, though. He was like, this is so cool, Dad.
Well, I know we only have a few minutes left in this. So where do you want to wrap this up with it? So is social media the devil or is it the devil?
It's like a devil on both shoulders. No, I think that used correctly, it can be a great tool for your business. It can be a great tool for the success of your artistry or whatever you're trying to do. I
agree.
It can be a great tool. I think that at the heart of what it is, it causes a lot of pain and a lot of hurt for people that maybe that wasn't the original intention, but that is the outcome. I think the outcome is a lot of people get their feelings hurt. You know, for me, I don't get caught up in the fact of how many people like my post, but when I put out a new song and I go on my social media and I see, 1,500 people saw my story that has my link, and these are allegedly 1,500 people that follow me or my friends, and all they have to do is click that link to add my new song to their Spotify list, and then, the pre-save it, and then all of a sudden, whenever I go on pre-save day, it's got 60 pre-saves after a month of advertising and pushing and knowing that, thousands of people saw this that are supposedly my friends or my followers, didn't take the time to just click, hey, man, I'm going to support you. Because it doesn't cost anything, right? And I think the same thing when you have a business, you look at your wife's opened the label, and my wife's got her new business going, and, their expectations, I think, was everybody's going to come all the time and it's going to be great because I got all these friends. And then, the support's there from our immediate family and friends, the people that we spend every day with. But people that are your friends or they're your acquaintances that you thought, oh, yeah, they'll for sure come check out the store, or they'll for sure download the app, or they'll for sure use my wife or me to redo their house. And then that doesn't happen. I think that expectation can hurt you. And that's the part more that gets me is like, man, it's like, you're always saying I want new music, or you're always saying I'd love to hear that, or I'd love to see that. And then you don't support it when it happens. And so I think those kind of things can cause rifts between relationships. I try to never let that be the case with me, and as far as that goes. But I would love to see people take a little bit more affirmative action on supporting each other. I think me and Jared are real good about posting. If our friend puts out a song, we're real good about supporting that song.
I think you're real good about it. I'm real good at seeing yours and then going, yeah, I should do that too.
Well, that too. And I'll do it even for people that are not my friends. If I hear a song that I love, you can bet like I'm going to post about it.
Yeah.
But I think that's an important thing to remember is like we get on there to post about ourselves. We get on there to tell our story. But if you want to be a good friend and you want to add something great to social media, also support other people. Go on there and post about their things, their wins. Yeah. I think it's just a good way to be in general. I will never buy a piece of clothing at Rye the Label, but I've posted anytime I've seen something.
Well, in fairness, they don't have your size. I don't.
Well, they might. I mean, they might have a moo in there I could wear.
It's coming.
But what I'm saying
the curtains don't count.
Yeah, but they do have rye, but I don't drink that either. But what I'm saying is like, but I post that because y'all are my family and y'all are my friends,
right?
And my wife went there the first week and wanted to come to y'all's other rye night, but couldn't find a babysitter, so and I was out of town. But I'm just saying, like, I think just supporting each other, helping each other grow is an important thing. If you could get all your friends and the people that you actually know, and get them to go download your song and not even pay for it, just follow it on Spotify. Yeah. Like I got, 9,800 followers or something like that. And probably 50% of those people I actually know, and I would see them and call them by name. So I'd say there's 4,000 people, 4,500 people on there that I would know, and they have an opportunity to see it. And for months of advertising or a month and a half of advertising before it comes out, if I could just get those 4,000 people just to go click one button and say pre-save, costs no money.
Oh, and it would put you in a total different algorithm and change everything for you. I get that, and I agree with that.
4,000 pre-saves puts you in a lot of playlists.
The short for me is I probably dislike it because I am one of those that get caught up in not feeling. That's definitely my issue in life, is not feeling good enough. And so it does affect me in a very negative way, and so I dislike it. The other side is like when I look at my wife, like you brought that up. She doesn't spend a whole lot of time with her social media. She doesn't really spend any time advertising at all, and she's killing it. And so I do question that a little bit sometimes, like, well, are we putting too much attention on trying to get noticed, or should we just be going out there and doing an amazing job and doing it again and again? Because when I watch her, it doesn't matter if it's a tiny bathroom for a friend or if it's a freaking full renovation in West Haven. She's going to go out there and kill it. And so sometimes I look at her and look at music and I go, why am I worried about what's the time frame that I should be putting out the song? Right. Is it good now? Is it good then? Do I post in the morning? Do I tag it with this? Am I wasting this song by putting it out? Why aren't I just going, put out a great song, put out a great song, put out a great song? But that lends itself to
look at the difference in the businesses. So your wife's business is mostly local. She's not going, I think y'all have done some things in Florida. I think you've done one thing up north.
She's got a bunch of things in Florida too.
Things, but what I'm saying
it is more of a local business.
So that becomes word of mouth. She does such a good job that everybody goes and talks
That's
about
true.
it. And so they spread that around. So by, by nature, she doesn't have to get that same social media
That's true.
following on that. So just different businesses, I think, could lend their stuff that. With Ride the Label, I think you are going to create a lot of customers, by people walking up, and they're going to see it, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the husbands are going to be like, oh, I can sit here and drink some bourbon while my wife, is it bourbon? Is that what it is?
And beer.
And beer.
You're saying that it's different too. It's also different in the fact that, like, if I'm getting a corporate group of people to notice what I'm posting, then I'm going to get some sort of major benefit out of that.
Right.
Opposite of what I see with her.
Yeah.
Like, she gets major companies reposting her stuff all the time. She has very few followers, and she gets nothing out of it when they repost it.
To be fair, she had to
And so it's
completely
a
rebuild all of her social medias because she got hacked about 4 months ago.
Yeah, that's true
that's
too.
right.
Yeah.
That's true too.
That's another
They took
She
everything.
posted a picture of a Christmas tree, and it was just too much for Zuckerberg. I don't know. Anyway, so what is your take on it? And I know we got to wrap this up, but he spoke about it. What's your take on it when it comes to, your wife obviously has a business that's very different than your business. Do you see any benefits to one or another? And how are you personally with it?
So I love it from a personal branding perspective, right? Especially because I feel like I try to portray on social media exactly who I am. Like, I don't try to set any false pretense there, right? So I feel like it gives me the ability to where if we've never met before, but we're friends on social media, you know me before that actual connection happens, right? So that's where I try to put my spin on social media. And same thing for Ride the Label, right? For Autumn, I think it comes down to a consistency and not really, even though we do get that dopamine hit from the likes and the comments, because we all do want to be wanted, in some shape, form, or fashion, right? So, but I think it is also knowing, hey, like, I'm just putting out into the world what I want the world to know about Jeff Suter. And if they see it, they see it. And if they don't, they don't.
Right.
Same thing for Ride the Label, right? Yeah. If Ride the Label can show up, put out a good product, treat their clients right when they come through the door, make them feel like they're best friends while they're in there, the rest will take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think it's super important that people can turn the emotional side of social media off. Otherwise, we're destined for a lot more failure.
Right.
And I wonder with that,
or at least the feeling of that.
Right.
I wonder with that, because I didn't care what people interacted with on my social media at all until The Voice. And that was a game changer. It changed something, and it started something in me that I can't seem to get rid of now.
I think also time has led itself. Back then, your main way for getting heard in music was still radio. It was still...
And performance.
And now it's not that. So I think as times have changed and put that pressure, you're a great performer, you're a great songwriter, you're a great singer. So, you have to find a way to make that be your social media content, let people know.
Well, yeah, but there's also a difference in putting a 90-minute, 2-hour show on versus someone going toe-to-toe with you for 30 seconds. A lot of people can do that.
Yeah, that's a different, definitely different. So here's what I would just want to wrap this up with is just saying, if you're out there and you're doubting your worth based on social media likes, I hope that you can, find it in you to know that that's not where your worth is found.
Right.
Hopefully, if you're a Christian, you find your worth in your love for Jesus Christ and how you're able to spread that throughout the world with a positive manner in the love of Jesus. But hopefully you have people in your life that encourage you and want you to be great because they love you on a daily basis in real life and in person. And that you don't base all of your worth on those likes, on those comments, on how those perform. So that would be.
And while we're talking about likes and comments,
like, comment, share,
subscribe,
follow,
give us the damn dopamine hit.
5 stars. Give us 5 stars.
And I do that.
Unless there's 10, then give us 10 stars.
I think it's also important one more time to point out just how easy that is.
Yep.
Like, you can make somebody's day by hitting that one like button, that one comment button, that subscribe button, that share button, whatever it is. It's so simple to just do that.
And if
You're
they
already
don't,
there.
If they don't, I love you. I love you.
And I love you.
I love you.
Doctor.
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 Amen.
All right.
Woo!